All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll lead us in a quick word of prayer. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us in our city. We just ask that you be with us tonight as we go through this meeting, that you will fill our hearts with love and civility, and that we will do things that are pleasing unto you. Dear Lord, just once again, we thank you for the wonderful blessings that you've been able to bless our town. In your great and heavenly name we pray, amen. Pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, all the members are here. We do have a busy agenda tonight, and I told Joe and I maybe coming in the door to bear with us. We've got a lot to go over and a lot of paper scattered around. We'll do our best to get through everything. Like I said, all members are here. Approval of the minutes from the meeting in May and the special meeting, and if the council would give me liberty to make sure there wasn't any mistakes or anything, the special meeting minutes on April 23rd. Ms. Milam was sick, and we didn't have him at the last meeting. There wasn't a whole lot went on, but in the interest of making sure everybody knows what is going on, the members present were Jim King, Joe Maxwell, Mike Matos, LaCosta, Bean, and Stephen Craig. I called the meeting to order. We established a quorum. Chief Brad McNew asked the council for approval for a new hire, Joshua Jones, to start May 5th, 2024. He will have to attend the police academy. The previous hire did not make it through the academy. Mr. Maxwell motioned to approve. Being seconded to approve all. Councilman Matos asked why this request needed to come to the council. Councilman Maxwell suggested a policy change. That was revisited at the last council meeting, and now the policy change is that the chief can hire without having a special meeting as long as he brings it to the council. So I want to make sure and read that in. So you have the other minutes and everything, and I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting in May and the special meeting on April 23rd. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, stand approved. Approval of financial statement for May.
Motion to approve the income statement for May.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the financial statement for May. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, stand approved. Reports of city department, fire department.
All right, for this year, we've got 552 runs so far. Training and future training we got coming up this Friday is the explosive awareness training. It's just about getting the chemicals and learning what they do to put together new age bombs that are supposed to be very eye-opening for us. Then we've got some basic auto education and advanced auto education classes coming up. Oh yeah, and then we're building up some props for our own personal training, which is a roof simulator on how to, infiltrate a roof, and then forcible entry props on how to, force our way through doors. And then that's it for the fire department stuff. Building code stuff. We've got 7 permits for the month of June so far. That's 50 total for the year. And out of those 7 permits, one of them was an addition. So that's 6 new residents for this month so far. And then that's it for that. You don't need to discuss the ordinance.
I will probably come back there later.
Okay, let me know.
The planning commission, Mr. Todd Bean has been coming. He could not be here tonight. See, we have 2 items on the agenda from the planning commission, which we will take up here later. The chairman did tell me, and there's nothing been done on this yet, that they're going to start looking at highway mixed use, some changes in that area on manufactured housing, and they're looking at some stuff on storage units to be move to conditional use instead of, a permitted use. But like I said, that's just tentative, and you know how it took them a year on the last stuff, but to be aware of that they may be looking at that. They also did have a work session after their meeting, I think, Stephen, on the UDO or these, what?
Yeah, that's what was on. I wasn't here for it. I was out of town.
They are still working on that, but there's nothing set. They've not even started to look at those two items that I've mentioned. So if you've got any input, it'd be a great time to bring it up to the planning commission. It's very, very early in the sausage making process with them. And they do have you see an agenda, Thursday, June 27th, 2024 at 7 p.m. They will have a public hearing on a site plan, and that site plan will be for the Landmark Baptist Church Family Life Center. So they'll be having that. All right. Police department.
First one, Officer Cherry set up. This is Cherry Lamar, the last one that we hired, and he started on the 10th, I guess. So he's in training, and I just wanted him to come, but you look at him and let him look at you. So he's the first one that y'all haven't approved, so beforehand, so that's
Feels weird to
kind of do a little different, yeah, does
this is unusual.
Yeah.
Policy changes.
Yeah, it makes everything seem a little different. We finally got our radios in that we had a grant for, almost 2 years ago. And after we got them all up and working, we got one more base station put at the county, but we're actually operating off of it. So far, it seems to good coverage and kind of understand it a little bit better in our old system. So that's good. And just go ahead and remind everybody about the 4th. And we got an ordinance about not shooting too late, not shooting too long, and too early. And just want to make everybody aware of it. We've got it on our Facebook page. I'm sure the city probably have theirs, possibly. If not, they will. And just want everybody to be safe this 4th.
So it's allowed July 3rd to the 5th, right?
Yes.
Between the hours of 3 p.m. to 10:30. Make sure that's
So,
all right.
anything else? That's all we got.
Chief, sewer department.
Talked to Brandon today. He said that they have got the new blowers in, and I forget the name of the company. It's supposed to come tomorrow and start calibrating. So that should be up and running.
The blower and the rate. Yeah. That'll be a big upgrade for our plant.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot more in there with all the growth we did.
Yes.
All right, street department.
Hey, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
although the bowling rink, that was off that millage, right? Or
The bond,
the bond,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, street department. We, of course, we've only had two men. We've been pretty busy with trying to keep grass back off the roads. We have done some work on some ditches where we could. We've had some people that don't want drainage ditches cleaned, and then we have some that do. We're still having issues. There's places we just can't get into. We're going to look at a chemical treatment on that later this summer. It'll all be approved. There's not going to be any renegade chemicals or anything. So we've been working on that. Dove Creek, Matt is going to try to get in there in August on the intersections. I told you all this before. There's no underground drainage in that subdivision, so it's going to be a task. We can get the intersections done. We've had some calls. We are aware it's going to cost about probably $1 million to $1.5 million if we overlaid everything in there. We simply do not have that. Our road budget, for overlays is about $200,000 a year. But we are going to try to get those intersections. try to figure out how to get the water out of there. We also had some calls about some of the decorative lighting in that subdivision, and this goes throughout the city. If you see a night light out, be sure and let us know, and we'll get it turned into energy. But we do not have anything to do with the night lights or the decorative poles. Electricity, and we leave that to Entergy. And the Entergy has been notified. The staff was telling me that they had fired the company that was doing the work, and that they've hired another one. Entergy not throwing them under the bus. They've been real slow on fixing stuff. And I know they've got a lot going on, and I know they're trying to convert over to this new LED lighting on a lot of these fixtures. That we will turn them in. We did the complaints in Dove Creek. We made sure that those were brought to Entergy's attention, and we'll continue to do that. Saddle Creek, we're going to try to get in there in July, we hope, and do some work on some of the drain holes. We do have drainage there that we can use, but the drain holes have pitted and stuff, so we're going to try to fix those. The same thing with Saddle Creek. We're looking at about $1 million if we overlay the streets in there. We just simply don't have it at this time. Street funding is very locally based. Comes from local sales and use taxes. We do get some funding from the state. The Church Street project was a federal transportation grant through RDOT on that. We do get some city aid, but the city aid is pretty specific. They like to put that on through streets. If you remember from your time, they like, we got one project this year with them, a nailer. We hope to put Mount Olive on there next year, going down Frank Mitchell Intermediate to get that. But I just like to stress again that most of the street funding will be here locally. We are aware of the problem. We have looked at it. We brought engineering students down from Fayetteville 4 or 5 years ago, and we met with our city engineer, and we know the problems are out there, and we'll do what we can with what we got. And I think we'll be able to do a lot here within the next year or two. I think we'll see an upturn in some of our sales and use tax. That is law locally driven. So, any questions from the council on any of that? All right.
I just have one question, Mayor. They're getting to where they're about ready to finish Church Street, aren't they?
Finally, yes, sir.
Yes.
That's
Let me tell you what, though, that's gonna be a big improvement. When they get that finished, that's gonna impress some people.
and I apologize. I hate that it's been tore up and everything.
Yeah, but it's just the way it was.
Mother Nature has not been very kind to us. On rainfall, we had the.
Well, they had all them utilities, we didn't even have a clue what was there.
That is correct, sir. And we had the second wettest May on record. I know that project has been lengthy, and I've had several wonderful conversations with folks that chewed upon me mightily about it, and then I understand. But I do think it'll be nice when we get done.
Yes.
All right, anything else on the streets or any questions? All right, Park and Rec, I noticed they did finish up the season. I think that they're gonna, I think they've got a tournament or two coming up. They had a busy season. It did well. Just be blunt, you don't make any money in Parks and Rec. It's, if you can just hold it together, and that's what we've been able to do. We did get some mulch in around the playgrounds at baseball. We had requests for that. We got that done. We're gonna have to get another load in there. We're looking at building a parking lot over there at baseball, but once again, with Matt and them doing it, when I can get them to it, I think we're probably looking at $70,000 to $80,000. So we'll have to prioritize that as we can, when we can. We may not get it this year, but it is on our radar.
So you talk about expanding?
Yes, expanding the parking there at baseball between the turn-in and the playground equipment. So we'll have to peel the dirt off and rent a bulldozer, and of course Matt and Glenn will be able to do that, and I can take them loose from other projects. But we'll be looking at that as we can find the funding. We'll look at that, because it was busy over there. The new parking that y'all were gracious enough to let us complete, I guess about 2 years ago, softball, even though it is gravel across the road, has made a big difference. And somewhere down the road, we'll get it paved. Maybe after I'm dead and gone, but we will be working on it.
Yes.
Anything on Park and Rec? All right. Public comment, Mr. Glenn Clements. Glenn, do you want to wait till we get to that subject? Would that be good with everybody concerned? Probably. Is that okay at the council? Okay. All right, we'll just when we get up there. All right. I'm going to finish up some of my announcements. Like I told Joe, it's hard for me to keep everything in my brain tonight. The storm siren on South Church Street had a radio transmitter that could hit the lightning, and we have ordered the parts for it, and I don't know when we'll get it fixed. We've actually had 3 of the sirens that took some lightning hits during the weather events we had in May and early June. We are working on them. Those tornado sirens are a wonderful piece of equipment. I think there's always something wrong with them that we work on them. You remember that from your days?
Can I ask you a question?
Necessary around
Yeah.
here.
Go.
And what sirens are not working at this time then?
The only one that I know of right now will be the South Church Street siren.
Okay.
We did get the one fixed. The one at the road shop on North Mount Olive did take a hit, and but they were able to get it back up and running.
Okay, so all of them are working except that one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So again, if you see one or hear one not working, call
Please.
City Hall and let us know so we can get it fixed.
Yeah. Well, and I'll kind of piggyback it to anything. I mean, we may not be able to solve every problem, pave every road, or fix every issue, but if we don't know about it,
Can't put it on,
we can't.
put it on radar.
It's we know about it. We'll work on it. All right. And my reminder that I'm supposed to always tell y'all, the City of Vilonia has an app, and you can find it on Connect Vilonia at the Apple or Android app stores. This will allow you to receive notifications on your phone from the city. And that was very helpful a few weeks ago, because after the lightning strike, the South Church siren went off, and we didn't know what was going on, and we were able to send out notifications. Miss J, when the transmitter got burned, it decided it was going to start working. So, all right, I think that's all my notes. Moving on forward, department recognition by Councilperson Bean.
So this month, we're looking at what department we should recognize, and we have so many that are working out in the heat right now, from the ladies that are mowing to our firefighters and our first responders. So we just want to say thank you to all of them that are out there. I've seen them, and they're sweating and it's hot. So when you pass by and you see them, be sure and tell them thank you.
Absolutely, and it's they work hard. They have a lot of mowing to do, and we get the grants for the sidewalks. We're required. A lot of people don't know we're required to mow those and keep them up. That's part of the grant requirement. So mowing is a pretty good job. It's a tough one.
And they keep up with it well.
They do. Trish, Corey, and Vanessa, they do good. Vanessa really stays on the line.
Vanessa's always on the
Yeah,
lawnmower.
and if you'll give me just a little bit of latitude, there was one other thing. Mr. Craig mentioned to me here a few months back. I will try to have an update on our budget, kind of where we're at halfway through the year. Here within the next meeting or two. Right now, everything looks pretty good. I don't know of any equipment that may go down on us. The only thing that might worry me a little bit is the said lawnmowers, as much as they get used. But our backhoe and our dump truck seem good. Our trackhoe seems good. What little bit of equipment we have, I think our trucks and stuff are in pretty good shape at this time. I don't see anything that'll put us in problems. I can tell you that inflation has creeped down, and it has made an impact. Of course, everybody knows that, day-to-day life. And I'm seeing that, just everything across the board, planes, supplies, and everything every night. Of course, everybody knows that. And, but I'll try to keep y'all updated mid-year. Right now, I don't see anything of any major concern at this time, other just than inflationary issues. Chamber of Commerce. There you are. Maybe one cup of coffee.
Yeah, there you go. Good evening, guys, or and gals, I should say. So I'm John Keith. I'm here on behalf of the Chamber this evening to give a rundown of everything that we've got going on. Second year board member on the Chamber. So we have our monthly luncheons that are open to the public, both members and non-members. So this is a great way to network and meet some good local folks and learn some interesting topics. We are at Simple Simons and have a special price with them at $8.75. The guest speakers upcoming in this month is Kelly with Renewal Ranch. Next month, July, is Brooke with Roush Coleman. August, we are hosting Central Arkansas Karting. September, Miss Jackie Fowlks with Vilonia Realty. October, yours truly will be there talking about Think Coffee and such things. And if anybody is interested in guest speaking, then they are more than welcome to contact the Chamber and we'll get you filled in on the spot. So always looking for that. We had 3 new members this month with ribbon cuttings. So congratulations to them. The Valley Event Center, Carlson Grace Jiu-Jitsu, Classic Mike's Barbershop. So excited to see that. The Chocolate Festival we had a good event there. We had 23 vendor booths set up. We hosted that at the Valley Event Center. And the fundraiser goes to help the Vilonia Chamber continue with the VHS scholarships. So, Fall Fest is set for Saturday, October the 12th from 10 to 4 at the Veterans Museum. We'll be set up outside like we were last year. Booth fees are $25 for members, $35 for non-members. More details will be posted on the website and social media closer to the event. We had a really good event last year. Weather worked out just perfect for us last year, so hopefully that will be the case again this year. So appreciate you guys' service. Any questions for Chamber?
Any questions?
All right. Thank you.
All right, on the agenda next, the Vilonia Community Development Corporation. It's going to have their meeting on June 21st, 2024 at 12 p.m. I guess that will be here, here in this here. On their agenda here that I've been provided, Mr. Chad Hearn will have his financial update, membership update, website update. They'll have a debriefing on their fishing derby. And they have some upcoming events featured Vilonia Teachers Business Fair, and the upcoming meeting dates be another one in July 26, 2024. All right. All right, Planning Commission, like I said, it will meet June 27th at your City Hall at 7 p.m. That will be the public hearing site plan for the Landmark Family Life Center. City Hall will be closed on July 4th. We'll be celebrating that.
It'll be open on the 5th.
Do I?
We're gonna be open on the 5th.
What day is it?
Friday. Friday.
I think we are open. Yeah, we are open. Yeah, I've been in the hayfield too much. All right. Can't think of any old business at this time, can y'all? I'll be moving on to new business.
Mayor, before we go past the announcements, could I make an announcement about the July 4th
Yes.
community thing,
Yeah.
please? Okay, so thank you. Mr. Jacob Garrett, who's actually here tonight, provides us with the fireworks so that we can do the community fireworks show at the high school. We will be doing that again this year. We'll start at 7. He'll do fireworks at 9:30-ish, whenever it gets dark. So it is free for We have the food, we have face painting, we have the band. Everything there is free and everyone is invited to come out to that. It's at the high school. He will be shooting the fireworks on the street between the administration and the elementary school. So that will be blocked off. So no one will be able to park there and that'll get him away from the vehicles and the people a little bit better than before.
Thank you for doing that. Always provided.
Is it called Elementary Street? Okay. I thought you just meant.
All right, so I've got, moving on, you did see on the, there was an amendment, need, I guess, council permission for the Vilonia Church of Christ to have a fireworks, display on July 13th, 2024. That's how y'all done it in the past. It's just.
Yeah, and we always consider special requests.
Okay. Do we need a council action on that?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to grant the Vilonia Church of Christ permission for their fireworks on July 13th, 2024. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I'm running off the piece of paper. I know you are, so make sure I don't forget them. All right, moving on. Planning Commission, like I mentioned earlier, had sent us two recommendations. The first one was a approval of a conditional use for an in-home daycare, and I am trying to see what that address was on that.
65 Eagle Street.
Do what now?
65
Eagle Street. There was no concerns or anything on that in the Planning Commission.
That's highway mixed use.
Yes, and they voted for approval on that. Yes. I'll
Motion
entertain.
to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the daycare. All those in favor signify, and also ratify the Planning Commission's decision. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And approved. Moving on to the next one was a mobile home placement that was on Highway 64. Glenn, what was that address?
968.
968 Main Street. The Planning Commission voted to not allow that, so we will have discussion on that. Would y'all like to let Mr. Clements speak now first on this, and then we'll go into discussion? Glenn, you have the floor.
Thank you. I was just here to ask y'all to overturn the no vote on conditional use permit. This lady that is looking at it, she's met the first three requirements, which is square footage is one of them. It can't be over 15 foot tall. It's not going to be over 15 foot tall. And I just, the rest of the requirements is nothing can happen unless the trailer gets put on the property. But she's met, the other requirements, the first three. And I don't understand why it's there. It's the requirements is there. She's met the first three. I don't understand why they're turning it down unless it's just personal reasons for the people that's on the board. And there was always a trailer on that property. It took it out in 2011 tornado.
Is she going to, and I haven't really got into the middle of that end of it, I've been on the legal end, is she going to, I guess use that existing slab to put it on?
There's the
She's
concrete slab.
Put it on that.
I mean, the concrete slab, Mr. Smith had built it, and it's got a front sidewalk and a rear sidewalk. And, it's probably one of the only trailer places even around that would have a concrete slab under it.
But that's her plans to put it on that.
Yeah. But the requirements is there before it ever touches the property. She's, the square footage, the height, and the year model. It can't be over 5 years. 5 years or newer. And it's supposedly gonna be a 24 trailer.
And I'm just asking, so the council is there sewer and water there for us?
Sewer and water, and, yeah, it's, the meters, under the ground there, and it's, and it's on city sewer. And, but, from day one, there's Mr. Smith off the place, there's been a trailer on it. He would just upgrade the trailer, and that one got,
Go get another one?
yeah, and, but that's all I'm trying to figure out is if he met the regulations, then why was it turned down,
And we may get you to some more as a council. Would y'all like to ask questions of Mr. Clemens at this time, or would you like? I'm sure he'll answer some as y'all get into your discussion. I don't have any at this time. And you don't mind popping back up if they have any?
Well, I do.
Alright.
Sit down first and then I do. Kind of silly question, but I don't know if you'll know the answer. Is there anything on the deed to that land, or it's probably not in covenants as far as that's concerned, that would restrict a mobile home going back in there?
not that I know of. I mean, it's,
I wouldn't think so, but,
yeah,
It's not subdivisions.
yeah,
I've never known of any on that.
yeah.
This one you're not going to know, okay, but does anybody on the council know why they, the planning commission denied the request?
All we've got is the email in our packet from Kelly that Trey sent that just says that they requested a home.
Yeah, and that's all I know is they just denied it.
They're part
They
of
did it based on the definition, I believe.
I'm sorry?
They did it based on the fact of the neighbors coming and asking them to not approve it due to lowering their property values. And also just, they discussed the definition of conditional use, having that part in there also.
But on the conditional use, it's granted to her.
We can put that in there, yes.
So if something happens to her, she's no longer there, then that conditional use permit goes away, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I got a couple things.
So it's not permanent, it's not a permanent fix, you're not gonna be.
If we're going to approve it, I got a couple things I want, think that need to be in there, okay, as far as the things that she would need to do.
Yeah.
We've given conditional use permits for, as long as I know, Bud Simmons, we gave him a certain condition.
Yeah.
There's been occurrences in the past where we have done that.
Yeah, I know we have, yeah.
I'm gonna say it's good for that particular person, for this particular circumstance, that they can face that, so.
So what you're saying is a condition that would be that she ceased to live there, everything that permit was for her.
Right.
As long as she's there and alive and living on the
Yeah, that's what I understand.
That's what I thought.
We've been told by another realtor in town, they do not, it goes by houses. That mobile home sitting there does not go, the price of it's like Mona's house sitting there. It goes by the other houses in the area. It don't go by that mobile home. And I don't know, Jackie might be, I don't know. She might.
They generally don't look at those.
I would say, I talked to a real estate agent, that's what they told me, the same thing as well, that when they pull comps, it's off of like structures, so a mobile home is not a like structure to a house. Now, the agent did tell me, she goes, it wouldn't reduce the property value, but it might entice somebody from not buying because they don't want to live next to a mobile home, just like a school or a funeral home or a church or anything like that could also entice somebody not to live next to it.
Council, one of the planning commissioners, Mr. Brady Zippel, has raised his hand. Do y'all have a problem with him adding anything to your discussion?
I was listening to the meeting while I was at school. I know Trey was talking about how y'all talking about.
Come on up, Brady.
Alright, so like I said, I was listening to it while I was at Drill Sergeant Academy, so I can't fully say everything because I was in a lot of classes and stuff.
I was listening to
I know, Trey was talking, just like how y'all were talking about, how it would go from the individual. He was saying that it goes from the landowner to the landowner. So now that the, owner has changed, it would update codes and everything, is what Trey was saying. So it kind of falls in line with the door.
I think Mr. Fireman was saying. Yeah. All right.
I have a question. Are you aware of any codes that have changed that would prevent her from, or from mobile home being on a property when this transaction takes place? Are you aware of anything like that?
I didn't study any, look at it.
I'm not aware
I
of
didn't
any.
get a packet or anything, so I can't say.
Well, we've had a policy for some time now that you can't put a mobile home in Vilonia.
No, they're permitted
A
in
few
low
years
density
ago,
and
I
medium
thought we
density.
put one on Eagle Street.
They have been permitted through conditional use, and Mayor Emeritus helped me, so you were here. Y'all have done it on a case-by-case basis, hardship. I think part of the requirement, I think you had an ordinance on it, that it was had to be 5 years or newer.
So when you look
Had
at
to be
the,
underpinned,
Yeah,
and,
those standards.
yes, but there was hardship, so they had been granted.
that's like, Mr. Mayor, yeah, under low density residential and medium density residential, they are permitted according to the code. And they do have, it says 5 year, I mean, I'm looking at it right here, it says 5 years, 800 square foot, minimum 15 feet, no more than 1 story. You gotta remove all the running gear, the tongues, the axles, it has to have all the underpinning. They gotta be installed according to the manufacturer installation specs and state of Arkansas rules and regulations. They must be placed on a foundation which consists of concrete pads or runners, which you said is a slab, so that would fall there. Have permanent curtain wall or concrete brick masonry material, so the underpinning, and they have to have porches or landing with steps and handrails installed at each exit, is all it says in the code. Under those low density and medium density residential, that's permitted.
I understand that kind of answered your question.
Well, I just, I'll be honest with you, I'm not for it. And the reason I don't want us to, I don't want us to give up on keeping the downtown Vilonia area favorable, and we've pretty much kept the mobile home issue out. And that's my position.
Can I ask a question on that? I know you talked about the man that owned it before, after 5 or 6 years, he would just go and get another mobile home or however he did it. What would we need, what would we do with this one? Because obviously she's not gonna go buy a new one every 5 years.
I don't even know the lady, I haven't even talked to her, and all I know is an elderly lady that wants to be in the city, and, you know, I really can't blame her. You know, and what's coming from some of the planning commission people, Kim just up and said, there's plenty of areas outside the city you can put a trailer on. You know, that's probably even in the minutes of her first, when this lady showed up to the meeting. She don't care if this lady wants to be in the city. And I talked to her on the phone. She told me the same thing. There's plenty of places outside the city limits you can put a trailer. You know, like she don't really care. You know, and you know, it's supposed going to be a Hawks mobile home, and I'm sorry, they're not your 1970 or 1960 trailers anymore. You know, but that's, like I say, I've not talked to her at all.
And I'm sure if it's a new one, I'm sure it'll be nice, but it would not be fair for us to require her to update it every 5 years or anything like that. So there has to be something.
Yeah,
I think it should
as
be.
long as she maintains the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be
not
fine.
much she made, but that's the way I
If she
understand.
lives there another
Yeah.
20 years, God bless her,
Yeah.
but still keep the place looking nice.
Yeah.
You know, like the rest of us do, so,
And her argument from the residents, it goes away.
yeah. Now, King went ahead and gave his opinion, so I'll give mine, how about that?
Y'all discuss.
I don't see anything, and nobody has shown me in any of our regs or ordinances or whatever, any reason to disapprove this if she takes care of the conditional use items. I think we've probably got a few that we're gonna throw in there too.
Yeah.
Okay? But as long as she meets all the regs, you know, personal opinion is personal opinion, you know? And I'd hate to tell somebody, we don't want you in Vilonia.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford a $300,000 house.
Yeah.
I'm not into that. I can't afford a $300,000.
And I will add, like I told y'all earlier, and this is not really part of this discussion, I think the planning commission sees that they may not get anywhere with it, like all this they went through last year. But they're looking at doing some changes on the highway mixed use that kind of lay some of after teams figures, you know, that they're looking at that.
Yeah.
And I will say, I was at the planning commission meeting, and the neighbor was very concerned about having it there and having it that close to her home. So that was one thing that obviously they have to take into consideration.
Have further discussion, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple things I want to say. First and foremost, we can't vote on things because we like or dislike them. And I told some folks with the planning commission the other night that if the business was sitting before me tonight to amend the current zoning laws to keep manufactured homes out of highway mixed use, I would very seriously consider that. But that's not the business that's before us. Mobile manufactured homes are a conditional use, and you know, just saying that we don't want them in our downtown district. You know, we allow a lot of things in the downtown area here that I may not personally like and other folks may not personally like, but they're permitted. And so I'm with Joe. I just don't see a legal reason to say that this doesn't need to take place. There was some discussion at the planning commission about the 200 feet driveway, but I think that was kind of hashed out.
This is a rare occurrence, I agree. It's,
this is twice that I remember something like this come up, so.
I had a migraine, so after dealing with 3 lawyers today, you know, trying to make sure my job is to make sure and try to help y'all. You're right. You're correct.
That's just the way I feel about it.
There's no legal basis. You are correct.
We need to, I think, before we vote whether to agree or disagree with this, determine, well, I guess we got to agree to it first and then say what conditions we want her to meet.
We haven't need any further discussion. Not, I'll try to help y'all frame a motion, so I guess.
I do think we need to probably, because this is under highway mixed use, which technically, by the way I understand the zoning laws, there are no specifications to what a manufactured home needs to look like under highway mixed use. We do have those specifications under medium density and low density residential. And so my suggestion would be that we would add the conditions for manufactured homes in low density residential, medium density residential, and have that apply in this case.
So I guess, I guess the first thing we would need to do is to have a vote on whether to agree with the planning commission's recommendation, and then we could have a motion after that to the requirements and stuff like that. You would see.
Yeah, because if we don't uphold what's laid on, it doesn't matter what conditions.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to uphold the planning commission's decision. I guess that would be the best way to frame it, and y'all could vote it.
Uphold or oppose?
Uphold
They're asking us to
Yeah.
deny.
All right, so we'll have them make a motion to deny.
To
Yes, if you're a no, you're.
Somebody,
if we're a no, we're disagreeing.
yeah,
That's
make
correct.
sure we're all, we got confused before. Go ahead.
We're voting to deny the planning commission's
Yes, could you,
recommendation.
let's frame a motion here.
Reverse their
You have to reverse their decision.
Let's help Cindy, so we're gonna have a motion.
To reverse the planning commission's
reverse the
decision
planning-
to deny the permit.
Alright.
So if you vote yes, you're voting to
Allow.
allow the mobile home.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Cindy, you got the motion in the second, the way you need it. So a yes vote would be to overturn the planning commission. All right, I'm gonna do it by voice vote. Stephen,
Yes.
Bethesda.
No.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
All right, it is overturned. So now we will move forward with the motion to allow her to place that
Special condition.
under a special condition. Let's all frame this together so we got it right.
what Mike said about,
It,
first of all,
it would have to meet the medium density mobile home requirements, which is 5.1.3.2, section 4.
Yes.
You got that?
Okay, so so the motion will be to allow this
That's what.
manufactured home to be placed at 968 Main Street, that it will have to meet the requirements, Stephen, and what was that again?
Medium density residential mobile home requirements,
Okay,
which
so
is
underpinning,
it's 5.1.3.2, section 4 in our zoning.
okay, 5 years in the rear underpinning and porches front and back. And y'all also, upon her departure from that residence, that this special use,
Permit is no longer valid.
it applies to her and her own.
Correct. If she
Upon her-
moves or passes away, it's no longer
The unit will
valid.
have to be removed.
Correct. It's, I'll say, another one I'd like to add on there, since it was a discussion, is the use of the existing driveway. You must use the existing driveway already in place.
Yes.
I don't know if they're on that list, there's a comment about tie down of the mobile home.
There is not, no, sir.
The thing needs to be tied down in accordance with FHA
It says
specifications.
it must be placed on a foundation which consists of concrete pads and runners under each frame.
That's some of the.
Well, it does say it is installed in accordance with manufactured installation specs and the state of Arkansas's rules and regulations for manufactured home of the Southern Standard Building Code. I don't know if that's in there.
I do think,
I don't think so.
Joe would know.
I've done too many of these inspections for an engineer.
so do you wanna add that?
They need to tie it down in accordance with the FHA or HUD specifications and provide a engineer certificate stating that it does.
And
Not
what's,
that I don't trust Mr. Hawks, but I don't think he can certify that.
what's the reason for that? Is that a safety issue in case like another tornado or something?
Yeah, we're kind of a tornado alley here, so, yeah.
All right, we need to read back on this motion. So the motion is, y'all, to allow this manufactured home in 968 Main Street, that it will have to be underpinned in the,
It has to be MDRs.
and then it will have to have tie down. We all clear?
Yes.
And it
That's
ceases
all.
at upon her death or
And upon her leaving the residence, that this special use applies to only.
Yeah, that way it cannot be a rental property for future, nothing like that.
So do y'all like that motion? Somebody make that motion?
I'll make a motion.
I move.
All right.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second, so all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I didn't see none opposed, so that is approved. That was a meaty discussion. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
All right. I guess, Glenn, when you visit with her, were you,
Yes, Sherry's dealing with it.
okay, if she need anything, just have a holler. Cindy, we'll get her what it's done.
All right, have a grass.
All right, on to some more lighter subjects, discussion, on the Spirit of Vilonia Ministries. Miss Cindy Sellers Roach had approached me a few weeks back, the food pantry, and we talked about inflation earlier, I did, and the increasing strain on our folks and stuff, and the food pantry's workload has just went through the roof the last year, people in need. And they're running out of room. And I know, James, you and I discussed the Beaver building and things. They're looking for a home, property where they can build a building. I can't do any of that, and you never get anywhere unless you float ideas. And the idea that we kind of floated with them is on the North Church Street, the Weaver Family Park property, the possibility of leasing 2 acres to them on the corner by Harbor Home. Our property goes up to Harbor Home. And then we will, somewhere down the road, another laundry list item, is we gotta build a parking lot and a road, and that could be a shared parking lot and road for that ministry building. And, of course, that's gonna take 200,000 to build that, but we'll get to it one of these days. If they do approve it, we'll get it there one of these days.
Maybe there'll be some grant money out there.
I'm looking every time. Yes, sir.
So is it the thought process to build a building that next to that?
Well,
Or
what-
are we going to?
No, y'all can come on up, but like I said, this is discussion, and I'm sorry, I told you this would be a busy meeting.
All right.
So, we kind of discussed it loosely. Of course, before I could go forward with it, I have to have y'all's permission, I would have to get the lawyers involved. I would envision a lease on the property, to them, $1 a year.
That's similar to what we're doing with what Vidra's doing with you guys at the current location.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that city property.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Are you paying the $1?
I think the Ministerial Alliance is the one that did that. But I mean, I'm just saying that's not our property.
You can't say, you can't.
That's not Vidra's property or our property, that's city property.
You can't
So
do
the-
it free.
So the city would own the property and the building, y'all just went and inspected?
Well, and that's something we would need to work out, because the way I understand it, and I do not know this for sure, and they're not here to be represented, the way I understood it, I thought Vidra actually, the agreement was such that over time, the city
The city owns the property.
The city owns
The city owns the property.
There was something
They
about the
went
building,
out
the
and got
value of the
money,
building.
got the
There's something about the value of the building.
and
was
all
gonna-
that. So
yeah.
we gave them permission to use it,
Mhm.
and
there was something about over 10 years, there was
it
gonna
was
be
like
some
the
transition.
original thing was 10 years. It was going to be an indefinite, could be renewed after that 10 years. Let's
well,
let's just divide up. So-
and if the council in general discussion wants me to go forward with the concept of leasing them 2 acres up there against that,
Yes.
we would have to flesh all that out and bring it
Yeah,
back
but
to
if
you.
you decided to not.
But I would understand that we would own the land and they would build the building.
Yes,
And,
that's what we did before.
Yeah,
Or they did
and in a community spirit, I'm dead and gone here, I'm sure that building would be used for purposes, it's kind of a public use concept
Right.
all the way around, so.
Can I ask a question? When you say they would own the building, who is they?
Spirit of Vilonia.
But who is
Yeah,
Spirit?
we would build the building. Who is Spirit of Vilonia?
Yes.
We're a 501c3 that's over there right across from the Methodist Church, that runs a food bank and a thrift store.
No, I know, but
Okay,
I'm
well-
saying, people, who are those
It's a
people?
separate
Who is the
entity.
person that would own that building?
The 501.
The 501.
501c3, we have a board of directors,
Yeah.
Don is the chair, I'm the vice chair, there's a board of directors.
Yes.
that are-
Yes.
The chamber by.
Okay. Okay,
I
so
think
the nonprofit's gonna have it, not a person.
Correct.
gonna have it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And what triggered this is, you were talking about grant, we came across a grant that we wanted to apply for that would have applied $40,000 toward a metal building. But we would have to have possession of land, and we don't. So, and plus where we were at wouldn't be, because we couldn't do it where we're at, obviously. And we had, at that point in time, talked about, maybe approaching somebody for either a discount or donated land. And so I was asking Preston, does he know of anything that would be up there if Mr. Weaver would have, for example? And that's when he said, well, we've done it before with the building we're currently in, Vidra and Spirit of Vilonia together helped raise funds to build that building. And the city leased us the land to do it on. So we've done it before, so maybe we could do it again in a place that would be more like a nonprofit center, because, the Veterans Museum's up there, Harbor Home's gonna be up there, we would be up there, that kind of thing.
Plus the need where we are is just not practical, and that building's like 3,200 square feet. It's
And we've only got a third of it.
less than half is what we use. And then that's split between the thrift store and food bank. So it's just, we turn away things all the time that could be resold to help contribute, because right now we're just barely functioning with the increase that we've had recently in bringing in and going out. And we just basically are really close to breaking even, or sometimes in a deficit monthly, because we are having practically 50 families a day that we spend twice a week. So we serve more than 5,000 meals a month, and it's just growing. And so the need is definitely there.
Yeah, I like what we're talking about, and I definitely want to be a team player. The only thing that is just off the cuff here, if we own the property and y'all are building the building, now, I'm not a real estate guy or a lawyer, but I think if that building is, if the structure is built on property we own, y'all wouldn't own that building.
Correct. And that's what I was
Y'all
saying.
would be okay with, I mean, that's something y'all would have to talk about, make sure y'all are okay with in your.
We did that in 2014.
Okay.
With the burnt building, because the building we were in, the old City Hall building, as y'all know, went away.
We could do something similar to what we did.
So, yeah, exactly. So that agreement was actually kind of drafted through Bise Drive, which is a sister organization to us. We're both under the Ministerial Alliance. So there's a model to use that we've done it
And
before.
so I'll ask some questions. Y'all have done discussed this with your board and they're okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're making sausage, so we got.
Yeah.
It's,
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
The only concern, I mean, I like the idea and I think it's great what they do. I don't know about a metal building look up there. You know, like, I don't know if we can maybe.
That was just a.
Correct, you know, I mean, because all the residential that's around there is brick, stuff like that. I want to make sure it fits in with the residents that are around there.
Okay with that.
You know, or horror home look, you know, at least that way it doesn't stand out.
They
would come back and.
We would also have to do through the conditional use process on that too, according to our zoning. Because it is zoned medium density residential. Conditional use is allowed for other public and community facilities, like the Fish and Pond, the Veterans Museum, stuff like that. So we just have to make sure we follow the conditional use process for it.
Like I said, I just had to get some guidance.
So that way, public hearings, you know, that kind of stuff.
And I'll put this out here, because I brought it up earlier. We are stretched to the max on funding. And I know that our part of it will be having to build a road and parking lot. And I know, Linda's been jumping up and down. But I can't.
Yeah, that'll help kill another bird.
You know,
two birds with one stone.
well, if you don't have it, you don't have it. And I can't guarantee you a timeline on when we will.
We couldn't guarantee you on being able to fund building the
I
building either, so.
You know, Matt and I were talking about the other day, and like I said earlier, we look at all the problems across here. We know them. We're not turning a blind eye. It's just what we got. We've got about 200,000 years to play with right now. And, but we have been looking at it already. Joe's unfortunately liaison for the Veterans Museum, but we know it may take us a while to get that in there.
What y'all need, not the pastors don't retire, okay? But what you need is a pastor that retired, is semi-retired, to do your fundraising for you.
I know you're How about reserve board managers?
I mean, it can take us a couple years to raise the funds for it, who knows? I mean, it's just, I think tonight was just an opportunity to say, are we willing to explore it going forward?
Council, do you want me to explore this?
Yes.
Okay, it's 2 acres in that corner, and I will go ahead and, get with the attorney and look at some draft language.
I can give you the agreement that's on the current building.
Yeah,
Because Kevin Rector helped draft.
Can I ask a question there on that? Instead of going through the process of going ahead and setting that land aside, I obviously want y'all to have a piece of land. But if we do that one, then what if they have a grant that says they need to be somewhere else, or they have to be within so many feet of something? Wouldn't it be premature to go ahead and get the attorneys involved and deeding that land before they figured out?
Well, the only thing I was asking for tonight was just a preliminary, and I know it's just to get it's nothing set in stone. You're just aligned.
See if it's feasible.
You're just looking into it.
We're gonna come back and, we're gonna come back and discuss.
Yeah, y'all are allowing me to bring stuff to you.
Okay.
I got sidetracked, Mike, you got something?
No, I'm with you.
Okay. All right, is everybody?
You're just gathering data.
Yeah. So the council's in agreement that we will start exploring this possibility of the Spirit of Vilonia Ministries for 2 acres in that corner. And I'll look at the legal
You
side.
may want to stand at the back door.
Take your shoe off.
Shake down people as they leave. You can't make people go.
I will stay in touch with you.
Yeah, that's great.
Appreciate
Yeah. So October is what you're saying?
We'll bring something. I don't know how long it'll take us, but we'll get something back to you.
I mean, and this isn't something that we expect to happen immediately. It was just one of those, I mean, really, it was just an idea of, where do you think we could go? And he's like, well, this might be an idea, let's talk to the council, so. But it is something that, if you've been past there on a Saturday morning, you know where we're at. is a traffic hazard, honestly.
Yes, I
For the
nearly
cars.
run over somebody dump truck.
Yeah, and so not only is the building space very limiting, but the road space is also not ideal.
I'll echo Pastor King, I don't think you ever go wrong doing the Lord's work.
No, you don't.
Is there anything as a council that we can do to help y'all make it easier in the process until you can get a bigger building?
I don't know, I mean.
They have reached out.
It's pretty limited.
They have reached out to me for the past year, and I've visited with James and I looked at it, and there's not a lot of commercial property available.
I mean, if y'all hear something that can be a temporary home for, that has a little more space, let us know.
So,
because there's nothing tying us to that building, to our third of that building.
Thought, I know we were talking about looking into separate refrigerators and freezers for the senior center. Could they not use the deep freezers and stuff like that that's in there if we get that?
If we do, I'll explore that option.
That would be a good spot just to store some stuff.
And I'm proud I get shell shocked, the price tag on those freezers.
We know.
Those commercial freezers.
It's about 30,000 tonight, we just don't have it right now.
Yeah.
But I am still got it on the radar.
And we also see lots of grants come across that, they may offer more shelving, more freezers, equipment, anything that would expand the ministry, and we can't really apply for them because we have no way to make it happen.
We have no space to put more shelves or
Would
more freezers.
BDRA let y'all use more of the building? Are they utilizing?
No.
Go ahead and say
They were
that.
not.
I know where
No.
there's if y'all want to get with me afterwards, I know where there's a building that may be coming open that might help.
Okay.
Let's get together and talk.
Okay, thank you.
They've never said, I've heard them speak several times, but I've never heard them say one time, we also accept cash.
We definitely accept cash and we appreciate it. Thank you. We take it.
Tax deductible.
It's been near and dear to my heart, being a farmer. I love to make sure people are fed, and, drink of water and something to eat is a pretty basic deal as far as so.
We have been blessed by this community. Donna and I will both tell you. I mean, we have never once I've been on the board since 2011, and we've never once had to turn anybody away because we didn't have food.
And it's near and dear to me.
We've gotten tight before, but we've never had to turn anybody away.
All right, any further questions, these fine ladies?
Very good.
Thank y'all very much.
All right, we'll be in touch. Y'all work on your end, I'll work on this one.
You know where to find us.
You know where to find. All right, like I said, it's been a busy night, and I appreciate y'all's patience as I try to remember things. James has been here, you got notes everywhere. I brought up on the agenda, the last thing is discussion of the grass ordinances 2001-3 and 2017-2. Jimmy, if you want to come on up and stand. We've had a lot, we've been inundated with grass and lots that have not been bush hogged, and
Somebody did some work.
yeah, that old sorry mayor.
Thank you for that.
But it needed to be done, but I think, and Jimmy, I guess how we'll start this off is there was a little bit of confusion, and I think you highlighted some areas that stakes kind of on the acreage and stuff. If you'll kind of read those, and we'll kind of discuss and field questions.
Well, the one that pertains to most is on A here, 5.4.2. It says grass is not to grow to a height greater than 8 inches on any given lot, or tract of land less than 3 acres, or to grow in rank profusion upon the premises. This requirement shall apply to any portion of any property that is less than 50 feet from any developed lot.
And I think what he's saying there, and then, like I said, we've really been inundated. If you've got a lot that's close to the distance of other structures, and it's under 3 acres, you can't claim an agricultural exemption and cut it right. And we had some folks that looked at that, and to get that clarity. And there's also some stuff in there on agricultural even that was pushed, that it has to be cut for hay every month or 2. Is that correct?
It does say kind of like that. I can read it for you. It says grass on tracts or parcels greater than 3 acres shall be considered as agriculture and shall produce and be maintained to maximize crop efficiency. That's where it gets, areas not being utilized to maximize crop efficiency shall be cut no less than once a month during the months of April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. So if, you know what I'm saying? So if they're wanting to maximize what they want to get out of it, they're not necessarily held to that every month. Does that make sense?
I think it does, but I just, you know, we have really, I mean, Jimmy and I have been smoked
Every day.
and we're trying. I'm a firm believer that the government's not here to be a burden on anybody's back. We give a lot of leeway, as some of you know. And I told some folks the other day that called that were a little upset, you know, hey, we're gonna try to work with you, we'll give you some leeway, but you're gonna have to get it cut, and, you know, in a timely manner. I know we had the second wettest May. Oh, we need to stop for a CD change. Hang on just a second. We discussed so much stuff, we run out of CD tonight.
Just hit stop. All is ready and I keep the grass mowed.
I apologize.
Okay, we're still live streaming, right? Hey, just so everybody knows that we are still live streaming on the YouTube.
So what you're saying? We're talking about our grass over here, it's all right.
In the house, the first home going in, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we better wait and get everything. I do believe we need to look into that. You agree?
Bigger than 3 acres.
We really should look at it. It's supposed to a phone drive across the instead of the CD.
Thank you. Let's look into something a little bit in our spare time. All right, so we're back up and running again. We had changed the CDs out. I'm sure we're in compliance with state laws and everything, so we are recording again. After seeing that you had a...
Well, I know that sometimes we have difficulty finding who owns the property. The first house going into Quail Hollow, on the first house you come to,
1 Weaver Street.
it hadn't been mowed this year.
The lady passed away about a year ago.
I know, I did her funeral.
Trying to track down owners, but it's hard to.
But
you have been working on that.
I figured we wouldn't be able to, I figured that's what it was, we couldn't get a hold of it.
We couldn't get a hold of it. We were told by one of the home inspectors or something, but I guess it's got a termite problem and all kinds of stuff.
See, she had a reverse mortgage, and the company that she had that with wound up with the house, but getting a hold of it would be a whole different matter.
Jimmy has really been doing a good job, he's done a hard job, and I implore him every day to stay on it, and he does. And it is hard to find these people, and some of these people are hard to get along with, I'll just be blunt. Jimmy and I got dressed down pretty good last week.
Yeah.
And we dressed back though. So,
respectfully.
Yeah.
Question on that.
Yeah.
So, I know it's complaint driven, it even says on our ordinance, it says when
We
it's
don't go
brought
out
to.
looking for problems.
Yes, when it's brought to the code enforcement attention, we have to do something. So, like that reverse mortgage home that Pastor King was just talking about, what is our options when it comes to that point? Do we just mow it and put a lien on the property? Is that what has been done in the past?
That's an option.
Yeah. Has that been done? It hasn't been done since I've been here.
I don't think it's been done since you've
Was
been.
it done during your time?
We did it, yes.
Okay. Let's look in on that.
Yeah, I mean, is that where we go after, if you
Yeah.
can't get a hold of them by certified mail and all that, I mean, something's gotta be done because we don't want it to be a nuisance with rodents and so I have the existing neighbors.
Let's look in on that. I guess we need to put a lien on it.
I mean, that's the only thing I know to do, I mean, I would know.
We need to research it.
Okay.
City attorney's help us on that.
Yeah. All right, do y'all have any further discussion or questions for Jimmy around on the grass? No.
Go get them.
I thought you were kind of winding down there, I'm sorry. I had a question on trailer, you were talking about trailers before. What about all of the abandoned trailers that I see here? Can the city do anything about it?
I don't know of any abandoned inside the city limits.
Oh, because I see them when I'm driving around, maybe they're Conways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. Jimmy, I don't know.
I don't know if any inside city limits, but obviously if you find something, let us know.
Okay, it's gotta be Conway
It
property.
probably is.
Is
We
there
don't have
like
anything
some
we
of
do
that
about
old?
county stuff.
There is some on Lusty Lane, Lusty Lane, and there's two on Lusty Lane on Naylor, and there's one on Bernard. But that's all I know.
There's one on the corner of, North Mount Olive and 64 Main Street.
You're correct.
But those have been there, and I think that's kind of, those were grandfathered in.
They're grandfathered,
Zoning,
that's what you can't
those
do
were there.
They were there,
Zoning ordinance.
they were there.
Are they being occupied?
Oh, no, they're just sitting out there full of junk. I mean,
But we should still be making sure they're maintaining it and that
You
sort of thing.
can't do that on a grandfather.
Yeah, that's always.
So they don't have to keep the grass
It's
mowed
kinda
and
like
that kind of
I
stuff,
would
even
think you'd
though.
still have to keep the aesthetics of the yard up.
Oh, yeah, now that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like some businesses that sometimes, you may not get dressed down over. They were here, grandfather clause is a very powerful legal argument on some issues.
Kind of like the old semi that's sitting there in the middle of the field for everyone.
Yeah.
Got a lot of grief from it.
Yes, you did, still do.
I'm sorry it's gone.
Yeah.
And I will say, as a business owner in the downtown area, it just looks better, it's better for everybody if we'll keep it mowed. I know having to finish mow it is not the ideal thing to do when it's 2 acres of land, but that is what our ordinance says, and it does make our town look better. And
That's what I
It does
just
not
read.
say.
No, it don't say finish.
We thought,
it
we kind
doesn't say
Yeah,
finish
I thought
mow.
it did too, but
of,
it
up to 8
does not.
inches,
Okay, so up to 8 inches,
8
okay.
inches.
no more.
So
And at least.
Which is pretty tall.
you can use whatever as long as it's not 8 inches, but,
Right.
Yours is under 8 inches after today.
I know, thank
It has to be
you.
8
It
inches
just
and done
looks
at least
better.
once a month, correct?
It just looks
Yes.
better altogether for the pride of our town.
Oh, I
Because
agree. I
When
mean, I
someone
think,
drives through,
I
it
think-
just looks like we don't
Hey.
care.
you let it grow up and everything, and there's nothing disturbing anyone growing that property. I mean, real estate and property is a privilege, and it's a job when you buy a piece of property. You either build a house on it, you either tree farm it, or you have to keep it up. It's not simple to own property, and there's a lot of requirements that go along with it. And
I had a guy ask me what time if Vilonia had an ordinance against using a weed eater. He said, I'm kidding, but he said it kind of looks that way.
we don't have an ordinance against Roundup. All right, council, do you have any further discussion or any questions for Jimmy? Jimmy's been doing a good job.
Thank you, Chief.
He got thrown in under the bus and run over.
You got the hardest job in the city right there.
And so, sometimes I wonder.
Yeah. Well, when he first came on board, I told him, I said, you sure? When he was hired. Yeah, I've had a fun time. He said, boy, he did a lot of work.
I will say this, he's made sure it's fair across the board so far. I've not seen, I think it's treating them all fair.
Let's double up on the lanes. That's the will of the county. To make sure that these properties and we'll need to build this stay on. I just want to make y'all aware. Yes.
With that though, in that discussion, let's give them an opportunity to do it. Let's
Correct.
go and warn them. Let's not just go mow it, follow lane on their house, let's.
I think that's the last case.
Yeah.
The one waiver is I think we're gonna have to. Jimmy and I have fielded probably 40 calls over it, so we do need, I think, to, and like I said again, I don't want government to be a burden at the last time.
Well, unfortunately, we created the monster, so we have to deal with it.
I like to build roads and water lines and get out of the way.
The banks are notorious for that property like that.
But I do think we need to go that route on number one.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because he's been trying to
Extreme.
Yeah, something like that obviously is, but if it's just somebody's property or
Yeah,
something
Well,
like
that's
that.
what I told the individuals, last week, and that I consider them friends, and we had a nice visit, and we tried to help them, and we're trying to be lenient to help people.
But they have to work with us too.
Correct.
We have to.
All right, any further discussion on that? Council members, do you have anything else?
Yeah.
Long night, I'm pretty sure. We stand adjourned. Thank y'all.
I think it's 2 days.